Hey friends, I've been making a popular state dessert every week for the entire year of 2024, and this week happens to be Pennsylvania shoofly pie. Keep watching, I'll show you exactly how I made it, and I'll let you know if I liked it.
Now we're going to make this entire pie from scratch. So let's start with the crust. And here are the ingredients: flour, sugar, salt, butter, and cold water. And when you're working with that butter, you want to cut it up into little cubes in order to work it into this pie. Now, of course, you can use a food processor or a pastry cutter to blend this in, but if you want to be traditional, you're going to use your hands. We're going to squeeze that butter into that flour mixture and get it all nice and crumbly. Now, when I was researching this pie, I really thought the name came from just having to shoo away the flies from this nice sticky molasses pie. But really, the name comes from Shoofly molasses, which was a brand that was actually named after a popular circus animal that toured in Pennsylvania in the 19th century, named Shoofly the boxing mule. I guess you learn something every day, right? Now, once we have that crust combined, we're going to put it in the fridge and let it chill while we do the rest of it. And we're going to do the topping next, which is flour, brown sugar, and here we go again with the cubed up butter. And we're going to get our hands in there again and stir this all together until it's a nice crumbly texture. This butter makes everything just so yummy and flaky. And then once this is a nice crumbly texture, we're going to set this aside because that's going to go on top. And now we need to get the filling together. And of course, we're using the molasses. We're using 1 whole cup of molasses for this recipe. And I'll put the ingredients up here again. Then we're going to use some hot water, baking soda, and an egg. Now, this is the first time I've ever made this pie. I've been making a popular state dessert every single week, so all of these are new to me, and this one is as well. But it was really fun to learn the history behind it and then also to try a new pie recipe. Now, I just whisked these together until that was fully combined, and then you're going to want to crack 1 egg into a separate bowl and make sure that's well beaten before you add it into this hot water. Now, even though there's quite a few steps to make this pie, I didn't find it overly hard. It was actually quite easy. I didn't have to get out my electric mixer. Everything was done by hand, so that's always an easy recipe for me. Now, once that's combined, we're going to set that aside and we're going to bring out our pie crust. And just like any homemade pie crust, you're just going to roll this out until it's the size and shape that fits nicely in your pie. This is considered a deep dish pie. However, I don't have a very deep pie dish, so I'm just going to use my regular one. I put a little Pam in the bottom of my baking dish just so nothing would stick, and then I transferred my rolled out pie crust right in there. And it was a little bit big, so I did trim the edges. And then I just folded it over to look nice and pretty and then pinched off the sides. So this is a very nice looking pie when it's baked. Now, I read a few different recipes and a lot of people suggested putting a little bit of the topping on the bottom just so this cooks well. So I did that. And then once I had a little bit sprinkled in the bottom, then I gently poured the molasses filling on top of that. Now, also many people said not to use quite all of it because if you didn't have a deep enough pie shell, it could bubble over. And I did not want to have that mess in my oven, so I didn't quite use all of this filling. I left about maybe a 1/4 cup or so. And then you just take the rest of the topping and sprinkle that all on top. It's hard to believe that this is going to cook all the way through because it did seem so wet, but keep watching and you'll see how it turned out. And now just for a little bit of insurance, I put a little foil on a pan and then put my pie on top of there just in case it did boil over. Now this is going to go in the oven at 400 degrees for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're going to lower our temperature to 350 and continue cooking for 30 minutes. That was the perfect amount of cooking time, and you can see here it comes. It looks perfect. Nice and golden brown, everything's completely done. It is a little bit jiggly if you shook it, but that's okay. We're going to let it cool on the counter for 30 minutes. once it was cooled, it cut so well. And just look at inside at this ooey gooey sweet pie.
Here we go. Here's how it turned out. It looks really good. It smells really good. The whole house smells good. I'm excited to try it. I already cut that piece. Here it is. It's still warm. It's a little jiggly in the middle. See how it's split like that? I'm not sure if that's normal, but let's try it. Okay, wow. Okay, wow. Okay. You have to like molasses to like this pie. Holy moly, it's very strong molasses. Wow, I was not expecting that super strong molasses taste. I don't know why, since it's made with a cup of molasses, but it's good. It's not gonna be my go-to pie, but if you like that molasses flavor, this is good. It's ooey and it's kind of gooey and sweet, dark molasses flavor. Yeah, okay, Pennsylvania. Shoofly pie. Yum.